The financial mistake almost everyone makes. What if I told you that one of the biggest financial mistakes isn't made by poor people, or middle-class people, or even wealthy people, but by almost everyone? A mistake so common that most people don't even recognize it as a mistake. They think it's normal, responsible, expected, just part of life. And because everyone around them is doing the same thing, nobody stops to question it. Yet this single mistake quietly steals thousands of dollars, sometimes tens of thousands, sometimes even hundreds of thousands over a lifetime. Not all at once, but slowly, month by month, year by year, until one day people look back and wonder, where did all my money go? The scary part? The answer is usually hiding in plain sight. Because the biggest financial mistake almost everyone makes is not spending money. It's spending money without intention. And that small difference changes everything. Let's break it down.
Part 1. The Autopilot Life. Most financial mistakes don't happen because people are careless. They happen because people are on autopilot. Think about the average day. People wake up, go to work, pay bills, buy groceries, use subscriptions, order food, shop online, pay monthly payments, and repeat the cycle. Nothing feels unusual. Everything feels normal. But here's the problem. When money is spent automatically, without thought, without purpose, without evaluation, financial leaks begin appearing everywhere. Tiny leaks, almost invisible leaks, but enough of them can sink an entire financial future. Part 2. The $20 Problem. Let's imagine a simple example. Someone spends an extra $20 today. Not a huge amount, hardly noticeable. Then another $20 tomorrow. Then another next week. Then another next month. Individually, none of these purchases matter much. But financial outcomes are rarely determined by one large decision. They're usually determined by thousands of small ones. This is where people get trapped. Because small spending feels harmless, and sometimes it is. But when spending becomes habitual rather than intentional, the numbers become surprisingly large. Not over days, over years. And that's when the real cost appears. Part 3. The difference between needs and defaults. Most people believe they spend money on things they need. Sometimes that's true. But many expenses aren't needs. They're defaults. Default subscriptions, default habits, default purchases, default upgrades, default conveniences. Things people continue paying for simply because they've always paid for them, not because they actively choose them today. And that's a dangerous place financially, because money starts leaving without being questioned, every month, every year, without resistance, without evaluation, without awareness. Part 4. The Lifestyle Expansion Trap. One of the most expensive mistakes people make happens after income increases. A raise arrives, a promotion arrives, a better opportunity appears, and suddenly there is more money available, at least temporarily. But instead of creating wealth, lifestyle expands. A nicer apartment, a newer vehicle, more expensive habits, more convenience, more upgrades, and before long, the extra income disappears. Not because something went wrong, because spending adjusted upward automatically. This process happens so frequently that many people earning far more than they did years ago still feel financially stressed. Income increased, freedom didn't. Part 5. The illusion of affordability. Modern marketing understands human psychology extremely well. Companies rarely focus on total cost, they focus on monthly cost. Because almost anything can seem affordable when divided into small payments. Only $15 per month. Only $49 per month. Only $199 per month. Only a little more. And one payment doesn't seem dangerous. Neither does the second, or the third, or the 10th. But eventually, a huge percentage of future income becomes committed, not to wealth, not to ownership, not to freedom, but to obligations. And that's where financial flexibility begins disappearing. Part 6. Why high income doesn't fix the problem. This is where many people become confused. They assume more income automatically solves financial issues. Sometimes it helps, a lot. But income alone cannot solve poor financial habits, because habits scale. Someone who spends without intention at one income level often continues doing it at higher income levels. The numbers get bigger. The pattern stays the same. That's why some people earn extraordinary incomes and still feel trapped, while others earn far less and steadily build wealth. The difference is not always earnings, it's behavior. Part 7. The opportunity cost nobody sees. Here's where this mistake becomes truly expensive. Every dollar spent carelessly has a hidden cost. Not just the purchase itself, but what that money could have become. Investments, savings, assets, future opportunities, financial security, freedom. These things compete for the same dollars, and every spending decision involves trade-offs, even when those trade-offs are invisible. That's why intentional spending matters so much, because money can only go in one direction at a time. Part 8. The Wealth Builder Mindset. Financially successful people often ask a different question before spending. Not, can I afford this? But, is this worth giving up future opportunities for? That's a powerful question, because affordability and value are not the same thing. Many things are affordable, far fewer are valuable. And understanding that distinction changes financial outcomes dramatically over time. Part 9. The moment awareness changes everything. The turning point usually begins with awareness. Not budgeting, not investing, not earning more. Awareness. Because people cannot improve what they don't notice. The moment someone starts paying attention to where money actually goes, patterns appears, waste appears, opportunities appear, and choices become intentional instead of automatic. That awareness alone can create enormous financial change over time. Part 10. The simple rule that solves most of this. There's a simple rule that helps prevent this mistake. Before spending money, ask, will this improve my life enough to justify its cost? Not just today, but overall. Because every purchase should have a purpose. Every dollar should have a job. And when spending becomes intentional, money starts working for you instead of disappearing from you. Final thought. The financial mistake almost everyone makes is surprisingly simple. They spend on autopilot, without intention, without awareness, without considering the long-term cost. Not because they're irresponsible,
not because they're bad with money, but because modern life makes unconscious spending incredibly easy. And that's exactly why it becomes so expensive. Because wealth isn't usually lost through one giant mistake. It's lost through thousands of small decisions that never get questioned. The good news? The solution is simple. Pay attention. Be intentional. Give every dollar a purpose. Because the moment money stops moving automatically and starts moving deliberately, your entire financial future can begin changing. One decision at a time.